Good morning, or good afternoon. Yeah, it is about noon here. But I have been up early this morning because my hubby has birthday tomorrow, and we got guests tomorrow, and that's why I had to do some cleaning. And I hate cleaning. I hate all housework. I don't like cooking. I don't like cleaning. I like to be creative. Yeah, that's another ball game. But when you're doing a lot of cleaning, your hands look like, as we say in Danish, old fishwives' fingers. And that is perhaps quite okay because it fits a little to the word we are going to be using today. But this video here is about the word challenge. I'm not the host of it. Rita Summers is the host of it, and all her the info about the challenge you can find here under the little word more, and everything else I mentioned you can also find under the video here under the little word more. So if you're into doing it yourself, look at that. And shortly introduction, my name is Lisbeth, and you have reached my channel here and do a lot of different things, so look at the playlist and find what interests you. And just a little peep here, I have a Ko-fi account if anybody feels like supporting my work here on my channel and on the challenges I'm doing, but in any way don't feel obligated. But this is my substrate here. Rita asked us to use a substrate on 5 by 5 9 inches or 12 by 12 centimeters. Mine are a little bigger, and that's because this is the measurement I used for my challenge, the Stitch Circle Show challenge last year. So, but I don't think it matters very much if it's 2 centimeters bigger than she says. That's not about it. That's so I'm ready, and I've picked some materials, and now you're in for a knitting story. When you are as old as I am, you of course has a history of what you have been doing, and I have been doing many things here in my life. And in 1998, I think, I was seeing a big exhibition about tapestry weaving, and for about 7 to 8 years I learned a lot about that, and I was weaving and weaving and weaving, and I have stacks of tapestry weaving things under my bed. And at one point I was a member of a group of women, and in that group I got to sit in the border for that group of association of women, and somebody in the border there got that great idea that we should make a book about weaving. And long story short, we ended up doing that, and we got a publisher firm to work with, and we got an editor, and everything went as it went, and we made that book, and we were 3 women and that editor, and we ended up being so happy about working together. So we made our own little publisher firm, and I ended up as a part of that, and we made 11 books during 10 years or so, and it was all books about crafts, different crafts. It was about wet felting and needle felting and coiling and embroidery and knitting and jewelry, and many different things. And that had to end at some point, and at that time I had started my own little knitting company. I was designing shawls and not garments, but accessories, not big sweaters or so. That was not my ball game. But me and one of the other ladies from the old group, we made 2 of these booklets together. And this here is, and now we come to the why I'm talking about all this. if I translate it, the title in Danish would be Knitting with Yarns That Don't Behave. And what do I mean with don't behave? Now we are in for it here, and I know it's in Danish, but you probably can understand what I'm saying. When you have a yarn and you spun it gets some twist, and your aim is to make that amount of twist so your thread isn't kinking or making buckles or turning around itself. But you can also say, I want a yarn that do something special. So you have a yarn, you give it so many twists, and then you, yeah, what is it called in English? You stabilize it in that position. You put it through some bath of something. I don't know the technical things about it, but it ended up being totally straight. But the minute you put it in water, it totally curls up. And that you can use for making your knitting going different directions, even though your cast on is straight, and you do a surface with a garment like garter stitches and have the right side up, and you then put the wrong side up, you can get the yarns to do many strange things. These yarns are often twisted together with other yarns, and here's where my brain got thinking about it, because the word here in this challenge is knald, and I didn't know that word. I'm Danish, my vocabulary isn't that big, so I had to look it up, and Rita also was so kind to tell a little about it. But the definition is something, your hands can be old and gnarled, and an old tree can be it, or the bark of the tree can be it. But there are several other meanings of it, and it can also mean twisted, and that was got my mind setting on this here. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain much more, but you can see here's a little example of a very many small swatches I have made with this yarn who has been twisted too much and have too many turns. And one of the small samples I just have been in my basement and picked out, and it is sitting there. And twisted is the word I will go for here in this week's challenge. So I will use that little swatch here from my former life when I was doing a lot of knitting. I haven't touched a knitting needle for 8 years now, I think. But many exciting and challenging books we made at that point, and that was a part of my life also. But let us see what I can come up with this little swatch here, with knitted with yarns who have been twisted and turned and spun too much. Before I say anything more, this book isn't translated to English, so don't. You can only get it in Danish, and we have closed the little publishing company many years ago, so I just have some samples of them for my own amusement now. But I will gather some more materials and see what I can come up with. Perhaps it is easier to see on this piece. You can see that is the cast on line there. So it has been sitting there on your knitting needles, and then I have just, that's front and the back, been knitting garter stitches. That is a row of purl and a row of knit purl, knit purl, knit purl, and you end up with this on the right side. And you can see as soon as I put this swatch in water, whoosh, it did go that way. And can you imagine if I had this one here where I switched over, so then I did purl knit, that it then it would turn this way, and that way you could get very funny strange shapes in your knitting. Yeah, enough about knitting. I know I want to put this little swatch here in today. And another thing this word told me when I was going on Google Translate. It could mean the look of the bark of old trees. And doesn't my Momigami paper look like that? So I would think I will put a piece of that in also. And I have this one here, so pop, pop, pop. Yeah, that's a little too long here. So I will just rip a little of it off. And here in this case, I think normally I will tear this white edge off, but I think it gives it a little extra here. And this here perhaps fits in here. So I think I will go with it like this. And then I will sew this down somehow. And then I think I will only use the stem stitch and do a lot of lines twisted in and out of each other, and perhaps that is all. I don't know if I will do anything more there, but for a start I will do that. Keep this paper in place. I just will give it a dab with my glue stick so it is sitting where I want it to sit. I have so many small fluffy things from last week where I was using this velvet. It keeps dropping off. So there, I think it is okay. And I think I will just, yeah, it is a little difficult to do invisible basting in paper. So I just think I will do some small running stitches. To place it all secured, and you can't hardly see him because I have chosen a thread that's nearly the same color as my Momigami paper. And I think under the video also there is a link for how to make Momigami papers like I sorry, I have been talking very much here. How to make these papers, and yeah, I will just do that. And I think also I will also just invisible baste that down and be back. So this is secured now, and I think I forgot to say I have decided, beside following Rita's rules the best I can, to go only black, red and white. So this is sitting there now. But I was thinking about, perhaps some of you want to see some of the things that was in this book, and if you don't want, you can just fast forward. But there were, this is a technical stuff, but these were things you could knit yourself. And you can see the shape got that way because the yarn is turned that way. And here it makes small tips. You perhaps can see it like that. Or there. It was a very fun project, but since you had to use quite small needles, so people wasn't that keen on doing it, but yeah. front. Yeah, many very lovely things in here. Yeah, just a sneak peek here. So let us go back to this one here. Today I was so eager to get started, so I quite forgot to put a extra layer here on the back. I like to have something more sturdy to sew through, so I have an old, I think it is a duvet cover or something, but I can still do that, so I think I will just it doesn't matter, it doesn't go quite over there because there are paper already, so I will just give it some dabs here. And that glue won't last forever, so I will just invisible paste my fabric down, and I don't want it to wrinkle. Yeah, that was better. So we're waiting with my glue stick, so I will just go around there. That must be enough, and you have seen me doing this so many times, but the invisible basting, or the prick stitch as it always, oops, yeah, how about making a knot here on the end of the thread? I'm just taking some ordinary machine sewing cotton. Yeah, so yeah, and go a couple of threads back and come up about a centimeter ahead of you. And it can be a little tricky to see in this black fabric here, the couple of threads you go back, but do the best you can. And I can feel my glue stick is already dry, so I ain't putting my needle into wet glue. Yeah, that could be one more, and then we have to turn. But I will do this all the way around till I come up here. So now I have something more sturdy to hold on to. Of course I could just eyeball it and start sewing, but I like to have some lines to follow. And I have this chalk pen here because it wouldn't do very much good if I use my normal graphite pen. I wouldn't be able to see that. So yeah, I'm looking at it this way, but it could also be looking at it this way and then make the lines there. But yeah, I don't know that yet, but I think I will. Just go for a line here. Like that. I don't draw any more lines because they are disappearing very quickly. And then I will do the stem stitch and I will show you it. Sorry, my voice isn't so good today, but I will show you. So here we go with the stem stitch, and this is the way I do it. I come up somewhere here in the line, and then I make a little longer stitch than normal, and then I will just come up in the middle there like this. And the only thing I think it is important when you're doing the stem stitch is that you always keep your thread on the same side. So I like to have my thread on this side, but if you have it better with the thread on this side, keep it that way all the way through your stitching. Then you take a smaller stitch and come up in the previous stitch here like this. Yeah, it's perhaps a little difficult to see on the black. And let me see if I can come in a little closer. And here. So again I will take a little stitch and come up in the previous stitch and have my thread here on my right side. The funny thing is when you look at this stitch on the back of your fabric, it looks exactly like back stitches. So yeah, a little forward and up in the previous stitch and there. And it ends up looking like, yeah, a twisted line. And again, that is perfect for this challenge here, for the word here. A little ahead and up in the previous stitch. It's not until recently I have begun to like to do this stitch, and for many years I really hated to do this stitch, and now I've in fact don't know why. It can be that I did it wrong, I can't remember. I can't remember, but you're always going that way and not that way. And perhaps that's why I either had done it wrong or think it is strange to do it that way. But I will sew these 2 lines and draw some more lines and fill this black area up with twisted, turned lines. And then I will decide if I need a little more, and I think I need something here in the middle, or on that piece. It needs to be breaked up or broken up. Yeah, I don't know if you say that or that, but you can make very nice curvy lines with this stitch, and I think it is fine here. Okay, I will be back when I stitched a little more. Lovely lines there, and I just drawn 2 more lines, and again I will stem stitch them and probably do 2 more lines. That way I can all the time keeping track on what I'm doing. I could of course have drawn all the lines at once, but this chalk does the way very quickly. So and if you're unsecure on if you like it, or so you cannot, it is perhaps a good idea to just draw a couple of lines at the time. But I will be stitching a little more and then I can show it to you. I have also thought about taking a thicker thread, but I think it is thick enough, and I have also been thinking about taking this color thread, but no, I don't think so here in this case. But I want to put something light in here, but I will see what I can come up with and find of things I can put in there. But I will be stitching a little more. So done with all the lines, and I think they look nice, and I think there are enough of them. So at some point you have to stop, because you can keep on and on and on. But I think there's something missing here, and not many days ago I have an old book here by my side, and this is what is left of it. It was the binding was sitting here, and I saved these small 3 pieces here from the binding of the book, from the spine. And I think this is too long, but I have these 2, and they if you look close at them, they look like the bark of a tree, and that again is talking into the story here of this little piece. So I think I will place them here and see which one of them I would like most. I have this little one there I can place there, and that for me works quite fine. But if I take this piece here that's a little longer and put it sorry, Put it in there. It always also works, especially because there's this long white line there, and there's a line there. So it's really tough. What do I do? Do I want this one? No, I think I will go for the long one. Yeah, I will do that. Not so much. Take a decision, jump into it, and say this is how it's going to be. The only thing I will do is couch it down, and I've taken a thread, this color here, and I think I will turn it around and come up here. There. And see if I can, yeah, how do I do that? I would very much like not to go into the spine. There. So, yeah. I'm so afraid of cracking it up because it is quite fragile. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just like couching something down. Let me place it down and see if it is nearly as straight as I want it. Yeah, I think it's okay. And, I hope that here in the future there would be some words that is a little easier for a Danish person with not the biggest vocabulary. But then it is good we have Google Translate or all the big books we can look into. So here it is. I will just run it through here on the back. There. And do it need anything more? I think it is so easy to overdo it and plaster it on with many different things, and that's perhaps not my thing. No. I will not do anything more about it. I will say this is it. You can see it there. So that was this Saturday's challenge here, and I can say already now, next week I am not able to make a video because I'm going to Jutland and I'm teaching that next weekend, so I can't do any videos there. I of course will look at Rita's video and find out what the word is and perhaps make it by myself, and then I can show it next time I'm doing a video. Even though I have tough times, it is my goal to try and do it this year, and do it in black and white and red, as I have said. But it isn't easy, but who has ever promised me that? Nobody has. So I will take some close-ups here at the end of the video, and then I will say probably and a not probably proper goodbye to you. I hope you have gotten some inspiration by seeing me tumbling around with this word and see many things can lead to an embroidery who looks nothing like I have expected or thought of when I started this earlier. But the elements all refer to the word, and if I gave an English-speaking person this piece, they would probably not guess what the word is, but that is perhaps not either the meaning of it. The meaning is probably more like sparking you or getting you started doing something. And I like this intuitive way of working, meaning that I start with a piece of something that caught my eye or attracts me or speaks to me, and then do something with it, and that leads to that kind of stitching, and that leads to this there, and that leads to that there. But I would do that anyway without a word. Now the words can sometimes it can help, but I really also think it is not so easy, but I have done it. So if you have not perhaps learned some tips and tricks, or can see you can do things many different ways, please give my video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. That would be very much appreciated. Hit the notification bell, then you can see when there's coming new videos up, and give me a comment and tell me if my brain is too crazy, or you think this is too strange, or yeah, anything. I like to be in touch with you viewers. But else I will say, please play, and please be creative. That's so good for our mental health, especially in these crazy times right now. And take care, and treat everybody nice. That's all for this Saturday. So I will just say hi and bye for now, and see you soon again.